I am now a novelist with my 5th novel.
I'm a writer. I write mostly fiction, but I just wrote a memoir, and I also teach writing at New York University.
My career is information technology.
I'm a reporter and producer for WABE 90.1 FM.
I serve as the Distinguished Chair of Georgia Perimeter College's Southern Academy for Literary Arts.
First thing in the morning, I'm connecting with either people that are involved in my research or people who have read my books, and that gets me started in the morning, and then I dive into whatever book that I'm working on. So I start playing with my imaginary friends at about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Every day I make stuff up, and that's the thing I like about it. I get to just be my own boss and tell stories, which is really fun.
I love just being able to make sure that customers have what they want concerning information technology tools.
For me, it's about telling a story, disseminating information about populations or communities or even individuals or issues that might not necessarily get told in mainstream media.
I still do classroom teaching, and my great love is Asian and Asian American literature.
I obtained my bachelor's in information technology from Central Michigan University and my master's in information resource management from Central Michigan University.
For technical writing, which was a wonderful way to make a living, and for writing novels. Both of those things are absolutely based on things that I learned freshman year of high school from my English teacher.
I had to read a lot. You got to read a lot and write a lot to be a good writer, and so I just practice, writing and reading.
A lot of my skill set was developed outside of the classroom, which is basically talking to people, listening to people.
Well, I'm the first generation in my family to go to college, and like many people, the two-year college was a stepping stone to senior college for me. I was considered smart in high school, but goofed off a certain amount. So in two-year college, I decided to test myself, and I became the student with the highest GPA on campus, was able to transfer to a top 10 school, got a scholarship to graduate school where I started doing creative writing, publishing poetry and fiction.
If you want to be a writer and you're a high school student, the thing to do is just read and write a lot. It's like being a baseball player. You got to play a lot of baseball to be a baseball player. A lot of people say they want to be writers, and then I ask what they've read, and they say, well, I haven't read that many books. It's like saying, well, I want to be a baseball player, but I haven't played that many games of baseball.
I would recommend, first of all, just finding out if you love doing this type of work, because solving problems is the key thing to this type of work.
If you like telling stories, if you like disseminating information, and this is a career path I think that someone would find very rewarding and enjoyable.
For the person that has the passion to teach, I would say follow that goal, and following whatever's true inside you won't let you down. Never turn down any opportunity to teach, because the way to become a great teacher is just to start doing it.
I think it's important to surround yourself with people who are willing to help you.
Get lucky. Get lucky and also work hard, because you got to give yourself the opportunity to take advantage of it when you get lucky.
But the key is also to network and to ask questions and to seek assistance and ask about getting better and ask about internships and ask about, hey, is there anything I can do? It
is true that the unexamined life is not worth living. As students can begin to think about their lives, they can begin to shape their lives. And it's the goal to becoming what you want to be.
I was driving and a girl swerved across 2 lanes of traffic into my car and died, and that was a big challenge. Obviously it was worse for her and her family than for me, but the guilt and the sadness were very hard to deal with.
I think that, like many people, the biggest challenge that I faced was responding to peer pressure, because people who are considered intelligent and try to stand out in that way can sometimes feel a little bit isolated.
I refused to be intimidated by how I was supposed to be one thing or another. So I just was friendly with everybody, and it was a wonderful experience.
For me, a major challenge in high school was chemistry.
it was a teacher that really helped me to focus a lot more. Miss Cagle, I'll never forget her. She came in and said, Alan, if you want to succeed, then you're going to have to buckle down. Instead of C's, you're going to need some B's and some A's.
After my car accident, I didn't want to come back to school. And I just had a little bit to go to finish up, but I really didn't want to go back. And then I realized I needed to go face what was the hardest thing in my life. And you need a challenge you have to face challenges in your life. And I knew I wasn't going to get anywhere if I didn't finish high school.
I never really considered dropping out because it was not an option with my mother. But one of the most valuable lessons I've learned is that if you put time and effort into what it is that you want, you can achieve anything that you want to achieve.
Everything we've done as successful adults is based on that foundation that we got in high school.
But when I put time into it and tried and got good advice from good people, it worked.
Students have to understand that when you start to struggle, it's okay to get help. It's okay to go ask someone to help me. I think a lot of times because of the fear, they don't want their classmates to know that they're not understanding something. But, the worst question is the question never asked. And if you don't ask for help, you're never going to get past that challenge. They have to believe, they have to know that there are people there, resources there that want to help them.
It seems like a long time away when you're in ninth grade. You think, well, I'm not going to sit through my whole high school career because it's no fun, and I want to have fun. I'm not having fun here, and it's a long time in the future. But those 4 years go by really fast, and working hard for 4 years will make the next 70 years of your life a lot better.
It's so important to stay in school. Nobody's lying to you about that. I don't know anybody who's done anything they're proud of that doesn't think back to high school and have a teacher who made all the difference.
If your friends are dropping out and not wanting to go to school, don't hang with those guys. Find another path, another group of friends that want to succeed.
If your family won't help you, then you have to do it with friends and teachers and advisors and people like that.
Give yourself that opportunity. Stay open to those possibilities and don't let anybody discourage you.
If you have a good 3 or 4 years and drop out of school, it will make those 7 years after it much harder.
If you hang out with the right people, you'll go the right places. But if you hang out with the wrong people, you'll go the wrong places.
One thing that changed my life was having a great academic advisor who would talk with me long enough to help me learn to articulate my own dream.
And a lot of people who've gone on to be successful doctors, or attorneys, journalists, have also struggled. You're not the only one.
So I think it's important for young people to look at someone who fits their profile, who comes from a similar background to them, and yet has managed to become some kind of success, and then try to imitate that person. In the beginning, you can do worse than imitating someone who's been successful.
My teacher said, no matter what you do, you'll always be able to fall back on your typing skills. And what's really ironic is 40 years later, I'm typing all the time. My hands are on a keyboard constantly.
I wish I would have known that I could have done it because I didn't think I could pull it off. And I wish someone had told me if you work hard and keep at it, you'll make it.
Love what you do.
Never quit. And also, I think, never to make decisions based on fear.
You think that your teachers are having you to do these algebra problems for nothing or do these little science projects for nothing. But when you start utilizing some of these things in your everyday field, you're like, that's why she wanted me to know how to do this.
When parents are involved with the school, children do better. Statistically, they do better. I have seen it in my own life.
First of all, to the parents, they've got to get involved. They can't just expect the children to raise themselves.
I think love of learning really starts early.
You have to take the time to talk to the student. And I know that that's a challenge for teachers because they're not there just to teach one student.
Try to make school fun. I would say try to find what the students are interested in and try to make that applicable to the lessons somehow. So try to make school worth coming to.
You have to talk to that child, and you have to be able to somehow collectively, whether it be with the teacher or the parent or the principal or the guidance counselor, sit down and say, what's the best path for this student?
If you dropped out yourself, then there may be that hesitance about getting involved with it. Don't let yourself be scared of that. Get to the school and show your child and his teachers that you care.
Help a young person form good study habits and intellectual interest early. I mean, almost all the research shows that a person's personality and a lot of their orientation toward learning is set before they arrive in the 5th grade.
Talk with the child. Talk with the child and find out, hey, what's going on with you? What help do you need?
Before the crash of 2008, I would have said, follow your passion. Now I'm beginning to think in terms of, stuff that can't be outsourced. Dental hygiene will always be in the United States.
And I think getting people out of the classroom and into the environments where they really begin to discover themselves and fulfill their dreams, I think that's really the key.
I think they need to see people who are doing what they want to do. I think they need to have the opportunity to visit, to go to those jobs, those occupations where people who look like them, who are from their neighborhood, who are from maybe their same background, to say, look, I made it, I'm coming from the same place that you are, you look just like me. I think that helps students to identify that it is possible.
And for those of you whose passion lies in something like painting or writing or poetry or any of the other things that are probably not going to land you much of a job, there's more than 8 hours in a day.
Find some type of internships for them during the summer, a type of volunteer program for them during the summer so they can see what work is like and to show them that there's other things besides hanging out.